Angel Reese has officially been removed from Unrivaled, and no one seems willing to say why. The league that once made her the face of its debut season has now wiped her out completely, as if she never existed. No statement, no reason, just silence. But here's the real story. Several insiders confirm this wasn't about contracts or schedules. It was deeply personal. The same player who once called herself Unrivaled's first-ever champion didn't even get a call back for Season 2. So, what really happened behind the scenes that convinced the league she wasn't worth the trouble anymore? Before we get into this unbelievable twist, hit like if you agree with Unrivaled's decision, or drop a comment if you think they made a huge mistake. What's coming next might completely change how you view the politics behind women's basketball. The quiet removal of Angel Reese from Unrivaled's 2025 roster says everything. When the Season 2 lineup dropped earlier this month, every major name was there, except hers. No mention of injuries, no scheduling excuses, just a noticeable absence where she once dominated headlines. Insiders say executives held several private meetings to discuss the Reese situation and whether her controversies outweighed her popularity. The outcome was clear. She had to go. But that wasn't all. The final blow reportedly came during last season's playoffs when, while her team battled for the title, Reese was missing in action, literally face-diming into the celebration instead of standing on the court with her teammates. Just think about that for a moment. The player who once called herself the face of the league couldn't even be there when it mattered most. Her teammates were said to be frustrated, though they kept things civil in public. Behind the scenes, though, the tension was real. And this behavior didn't start with Unrivaled. Back in Chicago, the Sky had been dealing with the same problems throughout 2024 and into the season. There were unexplained injuries that always seemed to heal right when a new endorsement deal came through, frequent technical fouls that shifted the game's momentum, and careless turnovers that suggested her focus was anywhere but the court. One teammate anonymously revealed that the entire locker room energy changed whenever Reese showed up, and not in a positive way. Then came the real shocker. Leaked internal reports from January showed Unrivaled's viewership plummeted by nearly 67% after her promotional weekend. The audience dropped from around 300,000 to barely over 100,000. The league had invested millions making her their centerpiece, filling social media with her highlights and trash talk, 31 million views across platforms, yet the hype didn't bring actual fans to the games. Sponsors began demanding answers, questioning why her buzz wasn't turning into business. According to marketing analysis, every controversy she sparked caused short bursts of attention lasting 2 days at most before engagement nosedived even further than before. Their internal reports called it the diminishing returns effect. In simple terms, fans were getting tired of the same storyline, the same drama, the same attitude, every single week. The jokes and memes were fun for a while, but interest faded fast. People didn't want to sit through an entire game just to watch her miss another mid-range shot and argue with referees. One executive reportedly summed it up perfectly during a meeting, saying, "We're running a basketball league, not a reality show." Here's where it gets more telling. Several WNBA insiders now claim that other leagues have taken notice. The Athletes Unlimited League allegedly discussed signing Reese, but backed out after seeing how Unrivaled handled her situation. No one wants to be the next organization stuck managing last-minute absences and off-court distractions. Her growing reputation for inconsistency seems to follow her everywhere. Even international teams, which often offer big contracts to well-known names, are reportedly hesitant. Things got even more revealing when former teammates started speaking anonymously. One said Reese would check her phone during timeouts to monitor how her latest posts were performing. Another claimed she'd bring up podcast ideas in the middle of team meetings while coaches try to set plays. The contrast between her fierce public image and her actual focus behind the scenes became impossible to ignore. Financially, it's another major concern. Reports say Reese was asking for over $250,000 for Season 2, a figure that would have made her one of the league's highest-paid players. For Unrivaled, that kind of investment simply didn't match the returns. But when executives finally reviewed the numbers, the math told a clear story. Her jersey sales spiked early, then completely stalled. Ticket sales in cities where she appeared didn't rise either. Meanwhile, players earning half her salary were producing double the impact, both in performance and fan connection. From a business perspective, keeping her on simply didn't make sense anymore. The final turning point came during a meeting in early January 2025. League officials from both Unrivaled and the WNBA reportedly held a conference call to discuss the long-term effects of building marketing around controversy. Their conclusion was unanimous. Chasing drama might bring short-term attention, but it damages the credibility of the sport in the long run. They highlighted how Caitlin Clark's professionalism and basketball excellence have created genuine, lasting fan loyalty, something controversy can't sustain. Even with Clark battling injuries this season, her popularity remains unmatched. In contrast, while Reese stirred headlines, players like Sophie Cunningham were helping transform the Indiana Fever through teamwork, consistency, and focus. Cunningham's move to Indiana became a model of professionalism. No distractions, no drama, just results. That's exactly the kind of image Unrivaled now wants for its brand. Athletes who show up when it counts, not ones who celebrate from a screen. Insiders are now revealing that Reese's representatives made one last attempt to get her back on the Unrivaled roster after she was left out. They reportedly offered a lower salary, pledged improved conduct, and even proposed a redemption arc, marketing angle to rebuild her image. But Unrivaled's leadership didn't budge. Their response was brief and final. They'd already moved on, prioritizing players who bring consistency and professionalism over controversy and clicks. The statement was loud and clear. In today's women's sports landscape, raw talent means nothing without accountability. The fallout has been immediate. Young athletes in college programs are now being advised by their agents to stay focused on their craft rather than chasing social media fame. Coaches are using Reese's downfall as a real-world example of what happens when an athlete's brand overshadows their game. Even companies that once competed for her endorsement deals are quietly stepping back, unwilling to be tied to someone viewed as unpredictable. The consequences extend to her WNBA career too. Reports suggest the Chicago Sky are exploring trade options, but few teams are interested. Franchises in need of scoring worry about her attitude, while those with strong locker room culture see her as a potential disruption. She's become that rare paradox, a player everyone recognizes for her ability, yet no one wants to take a chance on. It's a tough reality for someone who, just 2 years ago, was being hailed as the future face of women's basketball. The timing of Unrivaled's move couldn't have been harsher. By quietly leaving Reese out of Season 2 without a single public statement, they didn't need to say a word. Her absence said everything. No dramatic firing, no online feud, just complete silence that spoke volumes. In professional sports, that kind of quiet removal is the ultimate message. You're not worth the chaos anymore. Analysts are calling this a turning point for women's basketball. For years, the idea was that any publicity, even negative, was better than none. But Unrivaled's decision just shattered that myth. They've chosen to prioritize long-term integrity over short-term attention. The league clearly wants real fans, not fleeting viral clicks. It's a mature business shift that shows women's basketball is stepping into a true professional era, not chasing trends or drama-driven storylines. Inside the league, players are reportedly relieved. Many say the tension lifted the moment it became clear Reese wouldn't return. The locker room is calmer, practices are sharper, and players are refocusing on teamwork instead of personality clashes or social media buzz. One insider even mentioned that the overall performance in scrimmages has noticeably improved now that the environment feels unified again. Looking forward, this situation could redefine how women's leagues handle player branding and accountability. It sends a message to every athlete watching: consistency, professionalism, and team-first attitude matter more than viral fame. Future athletes are now realizing that pure skill won't save their careers if they can't be reliable teammates. Leagues today are willing to lose a big name in the short term to protect the long-term reputation of the game. The days of overlooking poor conduct just because someone can score or trend online are officially done. Now, professionalism counts just as much as performance. And the ripple effect is already visible. Players who were once known for their tempers or inconsistency are cleaning up their act. Technical fouls across the league have dropped noticeably in early 2025. Even athletes who used to skip practice for vague, personal reasons are now showing up early and putting in extra work. Everyone saw what happened to Reese and learned a valuable lesson. No one is untouchable anymore. The balance of power has shifted, and the leagues finally have the upper hand. At the end of the day, Angel Reese's removal from Unrivaled isn't just about her. It's a statement about where women's basketball is heading. The sport is demanding the same level of commitment and accountability that fans expect from any professional league. The drama-driven era is fading, replaced by one focused on effort, teamwork, and consistency. Reese failed to meet those standards, and now she's living with the consequences. So what's your take? Did Unrivaled make the right call by quietly moving on, or did they lose one of their biggest marketing stars too soon? Share your thoughts in the comments and hit that subscribe button for more deep dives into the WNBA world. This story's only getting started, and the fallout could reshape the future of women's basketball.